thanks so much for joining our webinar today. I'm excited. Today, we're talking about creating technical content that really builds authority and drives revenue in the energy, industrial, chemical industries. So let's get started. We have a really exciting webinar planned for you guys today. We will have a time at the end for FAQs. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat, and we will answer those at the end of the webinar. So let's just dive in. What builds authority in technical marketing? So something I want to mention here, because we're going to talk a lot about it throughout the webinar, is your buyer's behavior. So everything you do from a marketing perspective has to align with how your buyers or your prospects in your audience behave. Okay, so in technical industries, it's no different. We still do business with people, and people still behave very similarly, whether they are buying dog food or whether they are making a purchase in the energy industry. So here's the deal. Most businesses and corporations and companies in these technical industries, they have spent decades not online, and they have massive amounts of credibility and authority and trust in this space. However, that doesn't automatically translate when you come online. Even if you've been online for the last several years, there is still a gap that you have to bridge before your buyers and prospects have that trust when they're searching online. So that is what we're going to talk about today as far as how to do that from a content creation standpoint. It's all about showing real world experience and not just making claims from a marketing perspective. You'll hear me talk about marketing fluff. In the technical industries that you're in, your prospects, they're engineers, they're procurement managers, they're maintenance managers. They can read through the fluff like that. They want to know that you have expertise, that they can trust you, and that you will be a partner for them to make them look good in their boss's office, right? So your strongest content already exists, all right? It's in the field. It's in your engineering departments, whether they're designing new things, whether they're making decisions. It's in results out in the operations side. And it's basically lessons that have been learned, right? So we are going to talk about how to use this content that's already happening in your business from a marketing perspective. Your marketing should translate this type of content into things that make and build trust for your business. We're going to talk about one of my favorite types of content in these industries, and that is a case study. It's not just a standard case study. These are a technical case study. And what this is it's really a detailed breakdown of real operational problems and results. All right, so maybe an example is, hey, let me show you how we worked with a client to reduce unplanned compressor downtime through a filtration redesign. All right, downtime, that is the code word for money and revenue in this industry. If you can show, hey, here's the problem that our client had, here is the solution, here is what we did, here's the data to prove it, that type of content really positions your brand to say, hey, look, they know what they're doing. They did it for someone down the road and we need it, so let's call them, right? It's all about showing those real constraints, problems, and your solutions as a vendor or a partner in this industry. Next, we're going to talk about tech brochures. If you work with us or you've ever worked with us, one of the things we do during onboarding is we create a tech brochure. We utilize these tech brochures for lead magnets in our marketing campaigns, and they work really well. What this is it's a focused application of your services, products, whatever it is that you're selling. All right, so it's not just very high level, it's very focused, right? Maybe it's valve selections for corrosive and erosive services. You can take this a step further. We love to do this. You have 3 silos of audiences that you sell to. Maybe it's, your guys on the ground, your engineers, your I&E guys, whatever it is that they're boots on the ground. You've got your management level, maintenance managers, operations managers, and then you've got procurement. All right, so you can divide your audience into those buckets sometimes, most of the time. And each of their messages are different, right? They're all concerned with different values before they make the decision. While procurement might be the final one to make the decision, the guys on the ground are using the equipment and need these services, and they are going to push hard to get them. So you can't not market to them, but their message is different than, for example, the procurement or the management division. So you can create these technical brochures specific to your audience in order to be very niche in your approach online. It's going to qualify your leads a lot better for your sales team, which in turn shortens your sales cycle. All right, so these tech brochures, it is supporting your engineering decisions, right? With your audience, they're making decisions that take months, sometimes over a year to decide. So you're giving them content to support this decision making, again, positioning you as a partner and authoritative in this industry. Let's talk about checklist. I talked about that boots on the ground audience that most of energy companies and industrial companies market to. Right? Checklists, they're so practical, right? These guys are in the field. Maybe it's a pre-commissioning checklist for certain installations, or maybe it's, hey, here's some troubleshooting checklist for this type of technology. Whatever it is so helpful and beneficial in the moment. All right. And so this is immediately useful. And then again, brand awareness, right? Your brand is going to be on this checklist. They're out in the field. They're talking about it. Hey, yeah, I got this checklist from this company. They're awesome. This is really helpful. I was missing step 2 and step 5, and this is really helping me make sure I have a really comprehensive approach to what I'm doing and facilitating today. So again, checklists are really great. They're easy to create. It doesn't take a lot of people involved to create a checklist, which is a good win for a marketing team. Let's talk about testimonials. And before you roll your eyes, I know that getting a testimonial in this industry is hard. I also own a business in this industry, and it is also hard because 9 times out of 10, my clients require NDAs. They say, hey, you can't talk about us. You can't say that you're doing business with us. And the same is true probably for your business. There are ways that you can still market testimonials. Number one, you can ask some of your best clients via email, hey, can you send us a quick few sentences what it's like working with us? We will make sure that we do not include your name. We will just use like maintenance manager or engineering manager or whatever your title is. And we will even use the company name if not allowed. Maybe it's largest company, largest chemical company in the US. We don't know who it is, but most people are going to resonate with that and say it's probably one of the big 3, right? And so again, you're able to massage what you can from a marketing perspective. Now, if you are able to take this a step further and get a video testimonial, that is a huge win. There are great strategies you can use. There's some softwares, and if you have questions, shoot me an email or grab some time on my calendar, and I will give you links to some of these softwares that you can use. But you can send a link and say, hey, click this link, give us a 30-second video of what it's like working with us, right? Maybe you have to provide some added value. Maybe it's a gifting strategy that you use to obtain these testimonials. Now, I want you to take this a step further. You obtain testimonials, whether it's written, whether it is a video testimonial or something in between. And remember those case studies we talked about in the first type of content. It's really awesome if you're able to say, hey, here's the case study. This is what we did, the problem, the solution. Here's how we did it. Here's the data to support it. Oh, and here's a testimonial from the client. Right? So it just leverages that case study even more, gives it more weight, builds more authority for your brand. All right. So buyers, they trust peers more than marketing, even in this industry. So you want to bear in mind, finding those testimonials and building a testimonial strategy is very effective in 2020. Now, I can't talk about creating content without talking about video. All right. And this is because we as human beings in 2026 and before, we want video. All right. Look at Facebook, look at TikTok, look at YouTube. That is what we consume every single day across our entire lives. Whether we are shopping for personal needs or whether we are shopping for business needs, we are still humans and we still have this behavior. You as a marketing person within these companies and in your role is to say, what is my buyer's behavior and how can I make sure that I'm creating content in order to communicate with them in a way that they want to be communicated with? Video is the answer. Now, lots of different ways you can do this. Maybe it's a walkthrough of someone in the field that's doing a control panel upgrade, right? Now, when you do these type of field videos and you're asking your boots on the ground to capture this content with their phones, you may get all kinds of things, right? So make sure you have a process in place to analyze that content, make sure it's within compliance. Because of the industry that you're in, you don't want to put anything out that could backfire. Again, Having video is so important, and making sure you have a strategy of how are we capturing content? Are we bringing in a video team? Are we asking for B-roll from our guys on the ground and in the field? Where are we going to use this video? Website, put it on YouTube, right? Have a strategy in place to implement this video content throughout social media, throughout your blog content, throughout your email campaigns, and even from a sales perspective, they can utilize these videos within their prospecting and nurturing of their leads. Again, this comes back to building and closing that gap of, hey, we've been in business for decades, but we haven't been online for decades. And we have a gap of credibility. So we are closing that gap to say, hey, this is the authority we have. We have real world experience. Our guys are out in the field doing this work every single day, providing the best service we can. And you're showing that and you're telling that story. Let's talk about expert explainers and technical blogs. So if you were on our AI webinar or you watched the replay, I gave you a tip on a really good strategy to use. And this is going to come full circle right now. What you want to do is get in the head of your engineers. All right. Your engineers are the experts in your business. They are the ones creating solutions and implementing solutions for your clients. This is where the value is in your business. From a marketing perspective, most often our marketers are not engineers, but our job is to translate that engineering content and technical knowledge into marketing messaging that we can use to build trust, build credibility, generate leads, and shorten the sales cycle. So here's how you do it. Here's some examples of some explainers, right? Maybe, hey, here are some causes of premature bearing failure in process pumps. Right? And these are so specific, right? You want to keep your content to be specific to your audience. So don't keep it broad, really kind of bring it down the funnel so that you can show value in what you offer. Now, if your engineering or your tech guys are like, look, I don't want to be on a video, that's fine. Marketers, we can adjust. You want to schedule a 30-minute coffee chat with the engineering team, manager, someone that has the knowledge, and turn your phone on and record the audio. Ask 3 to 5 open-ended questions. The goal is to get them to talk, okay? You're going to take that content back. If you're using AI, you can utilize an AI engine like ChatGPT or Claude to upload that content and pull some of that content out to create marketing content. But your goal is to translate the technical knowledge from that meeting, that 101, into blog articles, into email marketing, into social media content, and all of those different channels that you have and are managing from a marketing perspective. All right, so this is really demonstrating a deep technical understanding. If you're working with our agency, we do this. We had a client last month. This is awesome. I'm gonna do a quick share because it's great. We had a client last month in the energy space. Okay, very technical product that they have, and we had our copywriter and our CSM schedule a meeting with their tech guys, okay? And they had several questions and we recorded it. And it was so informational. It was so wonderful, the type of content we're able to extract from these guys. They're so knowledgeable. And we created some blog content from it. We presented it to the marketing team, you know, the people that we work with every day. And they're like, wow, this is awesome. We don't even know if it's right. We need the tech guys to review it, because that is the goal of marketing. We want to make sure we are talking to your audience, which are engineers and maintenance guys and high-level technical buyers. They can read through a marketing person who doesn't know what they're talking about and just fluffing it up. So this is so important, to extract the technical knowledge from your team and massage it into content that resonates with your prospects. Let's talk about data. So when it comes to data in this industry, that's where the proof is, all right? Our buyers, whether they're engineers, management, executives, they trust the numbers. What are the numbers saying? I know this because they're my buyers too in my agency, right? They want to see the data. What's the ROI? What am I going to see? What are those numbers if I'm going to save money if I upgrade this motor now? When am I going to break even, and what is that savings look like? Can I expand the lifespan of this asset, or can I push this maintenance to Q4? Like, what is the data telling us? And if your process, product, or service can create data to show from a technical content perspective, you're showing measurable operational results with this data. All right, now you can create PDFs, you can create content that is a lead form generation, like a lead magnet on some of your paid campaigns. You can create slide summaries of this type of content. You can expand on your case studies, those technical case studies we created, to include data from the project, right? Your sales team can also use this content. They're nurturing their prospects. They need this type of content, right? If we talk about the funnel, awareness, consideration, conversion. The moment they become a lead, it gets passed off to sales, but it's not over. They're going to have a lot of questions. And your sales guys needs to make sure they have some data that marketing has supplied them with in order to support their answers and give them the answers to those questions that they have. Let's talk about project profiles. This is very similar to a case study, but it's all about brand alignment. Okay, so when it comes to telling your story, this is your story. Hey, this is what we did. This was the company we did it for. And this is how we helped them, right? You want to position your brand as being an expert and being out there and doing the work, not just, yeah, we can do that, or yeah, we've done it before. No, they want to see that you are doing it every single day and every week, and that people are lining up to work with you as a partner. So creating these project profiles is all about showing real world operating constraints and how you fix them. Problem and solution. Here's the problem. Here's how we can help as your partner. All right, you can use these on your website. You can massage them along with your case studies. You can use them in proposals. Your sales team can attach, like if you have a project profile on a proposal that's very similar to what they're quoting, attach the project profile. Hey, this is what we did, and we can do this for you, right? Maybe it's a sales presentation. You can use these project profiles in a lot of different ways across a lot of different channels that aren't just included from an online marketing perspective. Let's talk a little bit about social. So social media, organic, so not paid, this is all about positioning. So all of us sitting here probably know if I make a post on LinkedIn, I'm probably not going to get a client from that post, right? Social media content, LinkedIn specifically, is all about positioning your brand as authority. 6 months, 12 months, and onward, you have started building a brand, right? And people do business with trusted players in the space. It takes time to build that trust. Even though you've got decades of authority built in the space, again, we have to close the gap. So creating some technical insights that are shared consistently on your social media platforms resonates well to build that long-term familiarity and trust. So all the content we talked about, case studies, testimonials, videos, expert knowledge, all of that type of content can be used and created to share on social media. And that is so helpful, and it should be a huge priority in your social strategy if you don't have one. Make sure creating authority and building trust is priority number 1, 2, or 3 in your social media strategy, because it is so important for shortening the sales cycle in this industry. Let's talk about sales. So marketing and sales are definitely on the same team. And once marketing hands off the lead to sales, the sales is not complete. Usually it's about 70% complete, right, with online marketing, but there's still 30% that your sales team is responsible for. So we want to make sure that we enable that sales team with the technical content that they need in order to close the deal, right? We want to have them have better technical conversations. Maybe it's equipment comparisons for harsh environments. Maybe you have a product and there are 2 other products on the market. Maybe you should create some content that shows a matrix of the differences in your product versus the competitors. Because we all know everybody's got to get more than one quote in this industry. They are looking at your competitors. Give them the content that they need to help them make the decision. Even put it online. It's great for search. People are typing in your competitors' brands, looking for them, and you have content on your website that's very valuable. Or maybe it's product A versus product B that someone types into Google search. Guess what? You have content now created to show the value and the differences in those 2 different products. So just some different examples of different types of content that you can create for your sales team. It's all about reducing sales friction, right? We want to increase credibility, shorten the sales cycle, and make sure we're not just focused on getting them to sales, but that sales has what they need to close the deal. So let's talk about some key takeaways. We talked a lot about different types of content to create in this industry. And from a 2026 perspective and strategy, priority number one is saying, how can we create a content strategy that hits these? Okay. You already have the most powerful content happening in your business. Every single one of you. It's all about creating a process to extract that from the field, from your engineering and technical teams, from different maintenance activities and project reviews and profiles in order to create content. The opportunity is so big right now. And I know this because I'm in the online marketing space in the energy industry. I work with clients in this industry, and they are coming to us like wildfire because they see the buyer behavior has changed. The decisions aren't always being made at the crawfish boil. The decisions aren't always being made on the trade show floor. They are searching and they are looking for information about your products and services before they ever talk to your sales team. I want to give you a really important lever that you can play with in 2026. So, when it comes to marketing your business online, the opportunity is huge, okay? Because the industry is quite behind, but it's rapidly changing, okay? And let me explain. You're not a dentist or a chiropractor or someone in the retail space who has been online since online became a thing, right? They have brands. The competition is huge. Right now, competition is pretty low online for your industry. We are generating clicks on Google Ads for sometimes less than $4 a click. That is insane. And you can take budget and ad spend that you're putting in places that really don't matter and really don't move the needle for your business. You can jump on this opportunity before your competition does and attract this audience and get some really big wins for your brand in 2026. So I'm going to have Michaela drop my calendar link in the chat. If you would like to schedule some time, feel free to grab a time on there. And then from there, if you have any questions, I'm going to open the floor now. Put them in the chat, and I'm happy to answer those for you. I'm going to see if there's any questions coming in. I'll give it a little bit longer. And if you have questions that come up afterwards, feel free to shoot me an email, or again, you can grab some time on our calendar. You will get a recap of the webinar via email in the next day. So be on the lookout for that. And we have another webinar coming up in March. We do them monthly. So check out our LinkedIn page and be sure to get that event on your calendar. And we look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks so much.